All right. Hello. Hello. Melissa May Dillon here, live on my personal page. And then we upload it to the Melissa May Dillon YouTube channel, which is the easiest place to watch the replays and subscribe to that channel. Also, drop a comment if you have any questions or if there's anything you want to talk about, or let me know what you're getting from these lives. And I just, drop a comment because we're friends. That's what Melanie says. Because we're friends and stuff. I love like the idea of like so somebody was using the word today. What is it? Um, emulate you. And I was just thinking how like we're all one thing. We're all one thing, but we're also all unique beings, and it's just interesting. And I find myself, you know, like I see so much of myself in Melanie Ann Layer when she's talking and she's on video. And then but you also have to deal with this like feelings of like, but we're not the same, we are different. And then it's I don't know, it's just it's this interesting thing. It's like we are all the same, but we are different people, and finding your own unique expression of yourself as source. But anyway, I don't mean to go into all that. I'm holding my monies. December to Remember is all about manifesting $1 million in 1 month, and I would love it for it to be this month. And I'm also going through the Exponential Wealth Program, where she says, Melanie Ann Layer's Exponential Wealth Program, of actually having cash on hand, touching your money, bringing it back to like, because actually, like the last time we really touched a lot of money or money at all was usually when we were kids. As adults, we have debit cards and money is electronic, and we hardly, if ever, actually touch it. And so it's kind of bringing you back to kid-like days where you actually had money. So I've been having this on my desk. I've been touching the money, feeling the power of the money, thinking about what people do with the money and things like that. And it's all part of manifesting a big sum of money. So one of the things I wanted to talk about today is this different. Oh, it's weird. Like the way they print the 20s on like every corner is different. I thought that was kind of odd. Like it's like different text. But anyway, money, money, money. All right. So what I want to talk about today with December to Remember is like it is often, and I experience this myself, where when we're going through something emotional, or like something emotional is happening, like for instance, conflict with you and your partner. Anytime we have something emotional that doesn't necessarily feel good, there is this habit where we tend to take our emotions, how we're feeling about one particular moment, and apply it to everything in our life. And this is something that I struggled with at the beginning of my business. Was if I was having an emotionally hard time, or if I was going through something difficult emotionally in a relationship with another person, or whatever the situation was, it was this habit of thinking that now everything is ruined. So if I have an emotional time, with my partner, and thinking that there's something wrong with me, and then thinking that there's something wrong with my business. So if I was having a bad day, or I was just, having a hard time, or I had conflict with another person, it was easy to allow that negative feeling take over every other part of my life. So if I was feeling not the best, if I was in a dumpster type of thinking, because it's just part of human nature, and it's also part of like, learning and growing and doing better. Like I was programmed and conditioned for years and years to think negatively. And so to get out of that cycle, I shift towards thinking more positive. I shift towards thinking more neutral. But there are still going to be times where this programmed and this conditioned cycle just comes up. And so when I would have a moment where I was having a hard time emotionally, and I was feeling bad and or negative, which I don't even necessarily love those words, but I would have think that my business is now ruined. Like if I was having a bad day, everything else was bad, and everything was having a hard time. And while doing the work of listening to Melanie Ann Layer's stuff and listening to what she says and tapping into that, she speaks about how having a bad day or a sad time doesn't translate to everything else as being ruined. And we definitely tend to do that. I know I tended to do that. And so I've done the work on mastering working on mastering my emotions so that I understand that when I'm having a difficult time, whatever triggers that, it doesn't mean that my business is bad or there's something wrong with my business. And I see that happening with a lot of other people as well, especially entrepreneurs who are trying to start their own business, run their own business, is they attach their emotional state, their current emotional state, to their entire business. So if I'm having a bad moment right now, my business is ruined, everything is ruined, it's all ruined. And so I've worked on being able to separate. I'm in this current moment, I am experiencing an unpleasant emotion or dealing with a conflict or having a difficult time, but I don't translate it now over to my business where I think my business is completely messed up and it's all a failure because I'm having an emotionally difficult time. Melanie Ann Layer talks about when she's sad, she don't work on your business when you're in that type of mood. Don't focus on anything when you're in that mood. In fact, she says wrap yourself up in a blanket like a little sushi roll and watch a sad movie and let the sadness move through you, because ultimately that's what emotions want to be doing. They just want to be felt, they want to move through you, and they want to go on their way. And we tend to either bury them so then they get stuck, and then it like comes as a reaction later and it just pops up, or we tend to allow that motion to take over everything in our life instead of, taking care of that emotion. We spread that emotion around, right? Like we let the shit hit the fan and we let it go everywhere. So one, I just want to honor myself because I've had an emotional day today, a very emotional day today. But I've also had been like endless meetings today. So it's like taking care of my business and then also having these emotional feelings, and working through being able to communicate and understand, especially with David, my partner. And just like, again, you don't know what you don't know. And so I was not given examples of successful, healthy relationships where communication was like a priority. And I have to learn these things myself, and I have to find out what I don't know about how to communicate, how to have a respectful partnership, how to, how to not be defensive when your partner talks about something. I only ever saw people in relationships who would scream and yell and fight and blame and shame, and just, that's what I saw as examples of relationships in my life from all of my parents. And so that if I don't know anything different, how can I know anything different? Right? Like we see TV, we see other examples like that, but that's like, there's this essence of like, that's not true. And that is true, that it's not exactly true. Even a reality TV show, they're taking bits and snips and parts and editing it out so it looks a certain way. And so if we don't have examples of what that looks like, then we can't know how to do the thing. And we have to find our way through it. And that's why I want to be an example of running a business. So that was something that kind of landed for me today, which I'm excited about, is like, who am I talking to? Who am I out here for? Like, I come on live, I talk to people, and as part of Melissa May Dillon, like, I want to have clientele. I want to have people that I'm serving, people that I am impacting, people that I am influencing, and people who are buying my stuff. Like, I want to be out here, making money. Like, we all get to be able to do that with our time, our talent, and our genius. And I'm like, who am I serving? Like, I've been following this woman, Emma Shea, and she talks about dream client messaging and how to make sure that when you write a post that you're talking to whoever it is you want to actually be working with. And I'm like, I don't know who I want to be working with. Like, I think about who is it that I want to help. I want to help the person like me who was living a life that, like, I know I could do better. I know I could have better, but I'm currently in this situation that doesn't feel good. And like, how do I get out of this? How do I grow? How do I make more money than what I've been making? And so I've just been speaking to that. I've just been speaking to that person. But as I'm growing here, I'm like sitting here, I'm like, I am a multi-million-dollar business owner with an extremely successful business. My numbers like blow out other people's numbers, especially when you look in the insurance industry. I just had a conversation today with Cody Askins, who is this big figure in the insurance industry. He has a very successful YouTube channel, a very successful business, leads business, all kinds of stuff. And he's like, nobody has the numbers that you have on your channel. And it's like not even it's an insurance exam prep channel. So it's like a niche of a niche even. And I have the numbers that I have. And there's so much of me that is, there's still a big piece of me that is a little girl. And this has been coming up for me a lot. And like even when I think about like talking to Melanie and like I'm in the exponential wealth group, I even mentioned again, it's like I feel like a little girl. And again, but that's because I never got the chance to grow up, like to have a sense of maturity, a rite of passage. And Melanie talks about this in her Femme Fatale program. Like she talks about a rite of passage for women that we need to go through. And I've been through the Femme Fatale, program, but it's not like you go through it once and everything sinks in. I'm integrating the things that I've learned, but there's also still so much. I feel like Femme Fatale, that program alone is something that you should take an entire year to like, if not longer. And there are many women who repeat it year after year. And I'm definitely going to be repeating it as well. Like I'm already signed up for the next one. So but I think part of growing up is openly admitting and talking about this. So there's this big piece of me that's like, I'm still a little girl. And in my conversation with David today, I felt like a little girl. And he's like, why are you being like a little girl? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, this is what it is. So, when I look at one hand and I've created this wildly successful business, I'm able to do incredible and amazing things. And there's also this little piece of me that feels like an immature little girl. And there's a big piece of like childhood healing and all this stuff. But again, I never, when I look at examples, I've never had examples of emotionally mature women in my life. I don't know that I could name one who I speak to on a daily basis or who's like in my perimeter, a fully emotionally mature woman who is not swayed by, I probably am one of the most within the realm of people that I talk to. I think the closest would be my sister Sarah, because she's also doing this work with me. And so I don't know what I don't know. So to say, I want to be emotionally mature. What does that even look like? What does that feel like? How do you talk like that? How do you communicate like that? And so I'm very grateful for, examples of women like that, like Melanie. But I mean, even every coworkers that I've had, situations that I've been in, I don't know that I've ever really met a woman who is very mature in her womanhood and feels good and confident and, like Melanie says, magic on legs. And so I think that's like one of these struggles that I'm in is like I have all this success and I want to be able to talk to especially other women and bring them through building these businesses. If I work on your business, like if I talk to you and you've got a business, I can give you so much insight, so much help to propel your business and to make it amazing. I can see things that you can't see. I can share things with you. I can do all kinds of amazing stuff when it comes to your business from my own experience, but also my clear cognizance of knowing. And yet I feel like a little girl. So how do I, present myself as this, incredibly successful, businesswoman while also feeling like this little girl on the inside? And that's why I'm on this journey that I'm on. And this is why I take the classes with Melanie and why I've been reading books and why I'm doing these things is because I know I can identify that I have this and that I want maturity for myself. I want emotional mastery for myself. I want to feel confident in everything that I'm doing. I know so many of you guys think of me like, Melissa, you're so fucking confident. I was like, yeah, I know that. But like, I'm also like feeling confident as like a badass, powerful, sexy, amazing woman is not an identity that I've really been able to tap into. Yes, I can be positive and happy and bubbly and outgoing and I can talk about making magic money and I can do these things. But internally identifying as that as a woman, like I often say the word girl, and again, there's something major coming and I'm super excited about it, but it has been, you guys can take guesses at what it might be. But I've been watching a lot of video of myself. And in one of the videos I say, there's this girl that I know. And I'm like, God, I hate that I say girl. There's this woman. And it's like, I have so much this like I say girl instead of woman, and that's because I identify as a girl and not a woman. And so I very much want to be able to fully identify and embody the woman. And it's been so amazing to tap into Melanie Ann Layer's work, because she has this mature woman, and she is a mature woman, and she grows and develops them, and she has the rite of passage through the Femme Fatale program. And so I'm very happy that I have that. And again, I'm wanting to integrate that more. And I myself just want to feel more mature. I want to heal that little girl in me that feels like that's who I am. That's what I identify with. And I think there's a little piece of, like the pink hair and the yellow hair and the crazy colors. I think there's a little piece of that is still like little girl, like teenager me, wanting to come out and express herself. And I've been feeling a shift in my appearance and what I look like. And by no means, like, I'm not saying there will never be a time where I don't have pink or crazy colorful hair. Like, I just bought Crocs the other day that are rainbow with shiny diamonds. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have that and be a mature woman. There's definitely going to be a time where I have colorful hair again. I'm in a different season right now. And I feel like this season is like begging for a matureness that I have yet to tap into. And that's why I was like, I loved going to Shamina's event, where, she had her daughter on stage at 17 expressing more maturity than I've ever seen, especially coming from a 17-year-old, young woman, to express the type of maturity she expressed. And I just saw this meme the other day, like, gosh, I wish I had saved it. I'm like looking for my phone. I don't even know where it is. But this meme where it was like, may your daughter not spend her life chasing love. And I'm like, God, like, how many years of my life as a teenager was I just trying to find somebody who loved me, just trying to find a partner to date or to be with, because I was raised and taught that, like, having a husband is the most important thing, and that you're not anything if you're not a married woman, if you don't have a partner, if you're not in a relationship. Like, how much of our conversations were based on that. And then all the movies, like, you've got to meet and marry your partner. It wasn't until like Frozen, where it was like a different story, where you don't have to have the partner and you don't have to have the Prince Charming. Like, there's another version available, but for so long it was so suppressed on us that we have to have a man in order to have anything. And that was actually true in history. We had to have a man in order to have anything. Bank accounts and owning businesses. It was only in like the 70s that a woman could begin to even have her own bank account. And again, we're always working through the energies and the generational traumas that we have gone through. So, like, a big part of my DNA comes from, and a big part of my energy comes from all the past women who've been feeling these things and dealing with these things. And I think overall that there's this big sense of, like, we need to have more mature women. I think it's been a big thing of, like, keeping us low in our power, where we can't really tap into our true power because we're running around as little sad girls, instead of, like, knowing that we're these amazing, incredible goddess women. And I think that's a little girl thing, is thinking, like, at the very beginning of this, I started talking about how you have a bad day and it translates to everything is bad. My business is bad. Everything is bad. It's all bad. And then, and I can't grow the business because it's all bad. Like, I've been working on differentiating those things and separating those things, knowing that I can have a bad moment. I can be sad, but it doesn't mean everything else is ruined, or that my business is ruined, or that there's, everything is wrong. And I had that for so long, and I'm happy to be shedding that. I'm happy so even though I've been having some conflicts recent, I'm happy to see that I have a clear distinction between, I can be feeling one way, but my business is fine. My money making is fine. Like, it's completely separate from that. I mean, how we do one thing is how we do everything, and it's all interconnected and all of that stuff. But having a bad moment, having a bad day, having some emotional conflict, having to experience something difficult and hard does not translate to everything is ruined in the business. And I used to have that mentality, and I'm super glad that I have been growing out of that mentality and not immediately saying I'm having a bad moment, my business is bad, because that used to kind of be how it was. And so I'm glad that I'm having that. And I think there's a calling now for like women to step into our maturity. Again, I don't know that I've ever really experienced, I think as I really think about all the women in my life, I think maybe one has been like an emotionally mature woman. But most women that I deal with do not have the emotional maturity. And we're all mirrors. So I know I'm attracting and reflecting what I have similar. So I'm calling it out in myself that a lot of the times I behave like a little girl, and I don't want that anymore. And I'm glad that I am speaking this out and calling it out, because what I say does manifest. So I am saying I am tapping into and becoming and embodying an emotionally mature woman, and that in the same way that I have massive success in my business, I will have that massive success within my life, and be able to bridge this gap between, that's one of the things I was talking about, is who am I talking to? When I come on live and I'm sharing my story and I'm talking, and I'm like, who am I talking to? Who is my clientele? When I think about, as Melissa May Dillon, I'll be offering courses, or I'll be writing books, I'll be doing these things. Who am I talking to? And I've been seeing all of this messaging from Emma Shea talking about your dream client. Who are you talking to? Who are you selling to? Who are you trying to bring into your world? And I'm like, I don't know. I know a lot of people are attracted to me. I know that I get hits and inboxes from people all day long. I'm so inspired by yourself. I love watching your videos. I'm listening to your live every day. Like, it's coming in. Like, look at the comments on the YouTube channel. Like, you're talking to me. I'm so glad you had this video. Like, this is so great. This is so amazing. So it's like, I know people want to hear what I have to say, but I don't even know who I'm talking to. Like, I don't really have a sense for that. And I think there's a big piece of that is because part of me feels like a little girl, and part of me has this wildly successful business. And it's like, I need to bridge the gaps of those things. Like, I need to up level my identity and step out of the little girl and step into, this mature woman. And I think one big piece of those, and I can't wait to re-listen to this, because I know right now I'm talking to myself, but I also know that so many of you are like, I'm so glad she's talking about this, because I feel the same way, because that always freaking happens. But like, one of the things that I've done is, like, when I'm in a new crowd of people, is I will stick to the person I do know, right? Like, okay, and then I'll listen to what they have to say and take on their opinions of whatever the room is, especially when it's somebody I don't know. And I'm like, I'm not available for that anymore. Like, that's a little girl thing. I want to grow up, and I want to be mature, and I want to take on people as they come to me without filtering it through someone else's opinion of the situation. And so, like, recently we had a family event, and I haven't really seen this side of David's family event. I haven't really seen this side of the family. And I was listening to the opinions of other people, the people that I did know. And I used that as my basis of perception for everyone else. But I decided, she's like, you know what? I'm going to, through a conversation, David's ex-wife and I, sorry, the two wives in his history, we have become very good friends, and I'm absolutely madly in love with her. And we've had some amazing conversations, and she's shared some perspectives with me, because she's been, involved in the family for a while. And I've just made some realizations that, I have sat and listened to the opinion of the people that I do know to assume the perception of everyone else. And I filtered my view of them through that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that anymore. I want to take a person as they come to me and give them give them the full opportunity to be who it is that they are, without imposing someone else's perception on them. And I think it was little girl status that was kind of doing that, like the fit in kind of pick me kind of, energy that was going on there, like being part of a clique or a group, or, whatever, to take on other people's opinions and propose that or impose that perception onto another person that I hadn't really got to know or meet yet, or anything like that. And I'm disassociating myself with that. And I did that most recently at this family event, and I'm super excited that I did that. And it felt really good. And I talked to people I had never talked to. I was talking to strangers. I was talking to everybody. Like, I was just having a good time, because I was no longer going to allow other people's opinions to be the basis for making my decisions with interacting with people that I didn't know. And I'm very happy about that. So also running a wildly successful business and feeling like a little girl has also meant that I have not made big, bold leadership moves that, I want to be making. It has been a very painful process, and I'm not blaming the universe or God. Like, I know everything is working for me. But because I come from this perception of little girl, to be able to, and so bosses are bad, managers are bad. Like, this is the perception we've had. Like, any job that I've had, like, there's this vibe of, like, even like the principal, like you're in trouble because the principal is or the boss or the manager. Like, I've had this perception that they're bad. Well, now I am it. I am the manager. I am the boss. So it's like, how do I bridge the gap between I feel like this little girl and yet I've got to be the boss in the business, and I've got to be able to make boss decisions, and I've got to be able to, lead, the people, and call the shots. And so part of me has been terrified to step into that role and do what I've had to do. And so the universe has presented me many opportunities in which I've had to do it. Like, I didn't do it. And then a disaster happens where I have to do it. And then it's like, okay, fine, twist my arm. I'll finally be a boss in my business. And it hurts. It hurts, but it's part of growing up. It's part of getting into an alignment. Like, we talk about being aligned all the time. And my alignment is off. If my alignment is, I have this wildly successful, amazing business, but I feel like a little girl on the inside, that's a broken thing. That's not correct. Right. So getting into an alignment sometimes is, like if you have a broken bone, it's going to hurt to put that sucker back together, but then it can heal, and then it can, it can grow correctly and stuff. So a lot of what I've gone through has in a way been self-imposed because I identify as a little girl instead of a boss woman that I am. And I am both things. I do have a wildly successful business and I do make boss moves, but like, it's not the full identity that I step into all the time. And it is the identity that I want to be stepping into all the time, especially as, running a business and doing what it is that I want to do. And I'm partly calling myself out on this live stream. Again, a lot of the times when I'm talking and channeling, it's so that I can hear it myself. I am speaking to myself. But again, I know that it's also speaking to a lot of other people, and that's why you guys are drawn and attracted to want to listen to what I have to say. And even the other day, like it's, I don't know, like there was a woman who was like, oh my God, I can't believe you commented on my post. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm just a person. It was a little wild to me, but also it was a little like, duh, Melissa, like, you're magic and you're amazing. And like, and I know this to be true, but it also still, it struggles to land sometimes, because it's like half the time I'm operating as a little girl and half the time I'm operating as a boss, successful business. And it's like, I really got to merge the two. And I think that's a big piece that's missing in the Melissa May Dillon business, is who am I talking to? So today, and speaking with my sister, and we're doing a learn how you're designed to do business. And by the way, because I'm still in little girl zone, prices are low. We have incredible knowledge and wisdom, and the things that we offer people are freaking amazing. Like, anything that I have offered and put out there that people have paid for me has been freaking amazing, with amazing and incredible results. But the little girl part of me still charges low prices for it. So you should jump into anything I've got going on before I get mature woman prices rolling on in. But anyway, my sister and I, she focuses on human design, which, if you don't know what human design is, when we were born, we asked for certain gifts and certain ways that we utilize energy within our bodies. And there is a map, there is a clear outline of what energies you are, you use best, what is the best way of speaking, marketing, advertising yourself in your business, how you are in relationships and stuff like that. And so she goes into all the human design stuff, and then I've got the business stuff. And together we wanted to create a course on learning how you're designed to run a business. Because again, a lot of the times you can start a business and you might follow someone else's, way of doing business just because they're successful, but you might not be designed to function that way. And it could feel out of alignment. It could feel sucky. It could not work for you because you'd be like, I did exactly what Melissa did and it didn't work for me. Well, that's because you're not designed to do business that way. You're designed to do business another way. And every single person that has spoken to my sister about their human design has been and has utilized it and has done the work. They feel so much better about the business that they're doing, about what's happening, bringing in the money, bringing in the clients. Same with me. I've used my sister's information about human design to build my business. So even though I feel like this little girl on the inside, I've been able to make big, boss, amazing moves with my business. And it's been wildly successful because I'm using my human design. So even though I'm not fully functioning as a mature woman, using my human design has been very successful at building my business. So today we talked about setting up, our online course. So we have that. It's going to start in January. It's for sale right now, and you can buy it on my website at melissamaydillon.com. And we're going to be teaching people about how they're designed to do a business. You will get your human design readings from her. You will learn about your business information from her. And then I will help you with the motivation, the mindset piece, and then any business data that I can give you. I am going to tell you things that are going to help you grow and have a thriving and amazing business. What those things are unique and individual to each and every person. So I can't be like, I'm going to tell you this, tell you that. It depends on what's going on in your world. And then I will give you the insight that it is that you need to hear so that you can run a wildly successful business. And so we're putting this together, and we decided that we should start a Facebook group where everyone can come into, whether or not you purchase this course or not. We want to be able to help people with learning how they're designed to do a business. And we can use this Facebook group to, work with anybody who wants to work with us and be able to share our talents and our gifts within there. And we were talking about, again, who is our clientele? Because it was like, well, should we keep it to design to do a business? Because you guys talk about all kinds of stuff. And you're talking about mindset stuff, not necessarily related to a business. And I said, I want to work with business people. I was like, that's my client. And it's not something that I've openly really thought or felt or discussed before. Because it's kind of like, who am I talking to? Who am I talking? That's been the question that has been ringing in my mind. Who am I talking to? And I do have a general sense of I want to talk to anybody who has a life that they don't love, but they would like to make a life that they love. I want you to be able to follow along on this journey. But when I think about like who I really want to be talking to, it's people who have businesses or people who are wanting to create and grow money in that sense. And there's a big piece of me that I want to grow up this little girl that I have so that I can show up as this big, amazing and boss woman, which again, I am. It's like, it's weird because I am that thing. I have the wildly successful business that's absolutely amazing and incredible. And I make amazingly boss moves, but I'm doing it from also the perspective of this little girl. So just wait, because as I grow up this little girl, business is going to be even more wild, more crazy, more awesome. And what I think is so powerful about what I do, because I'm so raw, I'm so real, I'm vulnerably share about what is going on with me, because again, I want to let everybody know you can do it too. Okay. So you can feel like a little girl and still have a wildly successful business. Like, it's not required that you fix everything about you before you're allowed to see some success in your life. You can be a hot ass mess and still be able to create a thriving business. It's just, what's so important about that journey is that you continue to grow and evolve through it. You allow that to be the thing that inspires your growth. You allow that to be the thing that inspires your evolution, that keeps you moving towards the direction it is that you want to go. And for me right now, and I've had a lot of therapy sessions recently too, where I'm just like, I feel this like this longing for this mature woman. And I don't have a lot of examples of that in my life. Real people in my life that I see, that I talk to. So it's like, I have to become the one. I have to become the one. If I'm not seeing it and I want it, I need to be it. And so I'm just fully working on stepping into that identity and owning that identity. And what's going to be and what's so amazing is, one, I get to share this with you so that you can see what this looks like. You could see what it looks like to have this energy, this feeling on the inside, and be able to grow it. And for me to be able to come back to this, there will be a point where I am that mature, emotionally mature, sound, incredible woman who feels nothing like a little girl, who will be able to come back and watch this and say, wow, look how far I've come. Look how far I have grown. A big piece of me doing these videos isn't necessarily just to talk to other people or to just, generate business somehow or whatever. It's to also grow and evolve myself. And so it's very exciting and awesome. Like, some people say, I would be so deathly afraid to say what you've said, to admit that. How can you be online selling business products and saying that you feel like a little girl? Because I don't care. Like, I want to work with people who are raw and authentic as well. I don't want to pretend I'm someone else. I don't want to pretend that I've got, this amazing, incredible life and business that has zero problems. I don't want to pretend that I'm a person, like, that's just insane to me. It's like, because we all eat food and it all turns to shit. Like, we all have to poop. We all get pimples on our butt. We are all human. And I think a big piece of this influencer thing, or, running a coaching business or whatever, is like only showing people the most amazing things as the look at this, you can have this too type of thing, without also expressing the behind the scene, dirty, raw, and real stuff. And I've been seeing a lot more people talk about, again, I wish I had my phone, but it's not like I'm going to, it's in my freaking pocket. What the hell? But it's not like, I've been seeing it a lot more where people are expressing, you say you have this amazing business and it's so easy and it's so wonderful. And it's like, that's not true. But there is also behind the scenes stuff that is difficult, that is hard, that you have to grow, you have to mature, you have to evolve. And I'm okay coming out and expressing what's not awesome and amazing right now, that I want to grow and evolve. Because one, it also just gets to be a piece of history for me. It gets to be my target of growth. It gets to be, look at where I was and look at where I've gone. Look at that growth and evolution. So right now, I speak to people who are wanting to get out of that life where they're stuck in this trap. Maybe they want to start a business, or they want to grow their business. But there will come a time where I'm talking to people who have built incredible businesses and who want to grow it even further, or whatever it may be. So there will be a time where I can say, look at the journey that I took. There was a time in my journey where I had built a business, but I also felt like a little girl. And then I grew and I evolved, and I took Femme Fatale with Melanie Ann Layer, and I grew and I evolved, and I took it again with Melanie Ann Layer. And now I am this, emotionally mature, mastered woman showing up. Look at this evolution and growth over the lifetime. And then I get to speak to that woman in that situation. And I get to show her the journey I took to become who I am today. And I get to guide her on that journey. So a big piece of being able to document where I'm at, what I'm feeling, and what's going on allows me to then create what will become the next iteration of my business and what I'm offering. And I think that's super cool. So I love just being so real and raw and authentic. And my human design says that I teach people by opening up my heart and opening up my heart about who I am, what's going on. I don't want to hide anything. I don't want you to think that I never have any problems, that my whole life is perfect, that every day I wake up and it's just pure butterflies and sunshine until I go to bed, and I never have an issue. That's not real life. And if I've ever presented it that way, it's because I know that what you focus on grows. So when I post pictures or I post posts, it's because I want to highlight the amazing things. I don't want to necessarily focus on the stuff that's not amazing. So am I going to write a post about it and say how bad my day was and everything was awful, and here's a post that I'm forever putting down into written word and a picture, and I'm going to have that reflash in my memories over and over again? No, I'm not ever going to do that. Not anymore. I used to. When I look at the history of my old, because I have this Facebook page that I have now is about 10 years old. I had I had a Facebook page before that. I made a switch in my Facebook pages, and I so wish it was still all one, but it's not. It's two separate, for whatever reason, it's two separate ones. But I go to my old Facebook page and I look at the shit I used to say. I used to complain about everything. I was in a bad mood. Everybody knew it. And I would always like have just the weirdest posts that would give no context, no information. Like it was just crazy. So to see that I evolved from even that person to who I am today, like that's amazing. That's awesome. Because who I used to be then was wild, very immature, and to see that I have grown in maturity and who I am is amazing and awesome and incredible. And then now I get to do it again, so today I am declaring, solidifying that I want to become, show up, identify, and align with an emotionally mature and mastered woman who does not identify or feel like a little girl. And I do have moments where I show up as this fully mature and mastered woman, but I can be triggered back down into my little girl. And I want to fix that. I want to be able to retract and remove those triggers, so that no matter who talks to me, who messages me, like it was like calling me out, because there was this post, it was a reel. I think it's called Dr. Tracy D or something like that. And she's a therapist on Facebook and creating reels and stuff like that. And she says, how do you know you're in a codependent relationship? So I'm like, that's probably me. Let me watch it. And it was like, you're in a good mood and your spouse comes home in a bad mood, and then you become in a bad mood. Like you need them to be in a good mood for you to keep your good mood. Like you can't sustain your mood while someone else has a different mood. And I know this, and I've talked about this. I've definitely talked about it. I'm like, the actions and feelings of other people cannot determine your own. This is something I talk about, but that doesn't mean that I've fully mastered it yet. It means that I'm on my journey of mastering that. And by talking about it and pointing it out and by speaking it, it helps me to master that. So I know that that's definitely something I've got. Like if I'm in a really great mood and David comes home and he's in a sour mood, it's hard for me to maintain my mood separate from him. And so that is something that I would like to identify, nix, fix, whatever. So anyway, I feel like I've talked about a lot of things. And again, I am super excited to re-listen to this video, because I know so much about what I'm talking about today is talking to me, talking to myself, because we want to see that growth and that evolution. And it's also a big reminder to tap back into the femme fatale, growing up and evolving, going through this rite of passage as a woman. And I'm very excited that as I raise my daughter, I get to raise her feeling like knowing that she's in her power. Because for so much of us, the reason we struggle so deeply now, the reason we have problems in our relationships, in our business, is because we were raised without our power turned on. Like it's there, it's always there. It's just no one taught us that it was there. And we weren't taught to just tap right into it and to trust it. In fact, oftentimes we were diminished. We were made to feel awful if we tapped into our power. And so there's a big, unveiling of like, you were raised and conditioned and programmed this way. And this is why you struggle. But this because they wanted you to stay weak. They wanted you to stay small. And knowing that I get to raise my daughter in her power, so that she is emotionally mastered and mature woman, as she grows up, like that is awesome. That I'm at least able to do that for her, and that she will not be raised in a way that programs and conditions her out of her power. That she will be raised in a way where she feels powerful, and that when she becomes a woman, she will feel like a woman and not have to fight for it well into her 30s to potentially feel like she's a mature woman. Because I'm done. I'm done with this feeling. I'm done with tapping back into this little girl mode when I don't know how to manage my emotions, or someone's in front of me feeling a certain way and I don't know how to handle it, or the way to handle it is to minimize myself by becoming a little girl instead of standing firm in who I am, by taking on the opinions of other people instead of deciding for myself what I think and feel. And it's just time for that. So I'm super excited about that. So I love you all. Again, December to remember is a lot of me talking and growing, but it's also about the monies. So make sure you have cash, grab cash, start touching cash, having cash around you. It's going to help you with your calling in the monies. We've had an amazing month this month. Like, it's wild. It's 10 days into the month. We've already made over $30,000 in the month of December, which is just super cool and awesome. I think it was maybe last December was somewhere around like 50 or something like that. But there was a time where, 30,000 was all I made in 1 month. And now it's what I make in 10 days. And that gets to be awesome. That is awesome and amazing. And again, I can sit here and say I feel like emotionally an immature little girl, and yet I also just made $30,000 in the last 10 days. You can have a business and bring in money and not be fully healed. Okay? You can have incredible, awesome stuff happening in your life and still have inner work to do. Remove the belief that you cannot have awesome, amazing things until you fully fixed everything, because that will keep you trapped in fixing things forever. And that will keep you trapped in never growing things forever. It is all about growth and evolution over a lifetime, and growing the business and doing the things that you want to do is what will help you on that journey of, healing those things and going through those things. You're going to have to heal through those things anyway. Why wait? Why put your life on pause? As you get to do those things as you grow, as you have an amazing life. It can happen coincide. It can go together. Okay. So I love you all. Have an amazing day. I will be back on tomorrow for December to remember. I'm doing this every single day in the month of December, and I'm planting the seed. I'm talking about making $1 million in 1 month, and I'm planting seeds, and I'm growing and evolving, and I'm doing it on camera because for whatever reason, that's the vibe. Like, that's where I'm at. That's what makes the difference. And oh my gosh, it's been four years of almost dropped him. 4 years of Zubu, who just came and scratched on my leg. This little guy has been with me for the last 4 years. It's his anniversary. December 8th. December 8th or December 9th? December 9th was the anniversary of getting Zoo. And I love you. And he's so amazing. And this is my buddy. And he wanted to come say hi. All right. I love you all. You guys have an amazing day. See you later.